Check this out, and then we're going to the phones. Fred Warner. Fred Warner is having a party because Bosa's back.
Just really happy. Ecstatic, actually. You should have seen me screaming earlier. Yeah.
How'd you find out?
Eating my lunch, and Coach Willis walking down the hall. He grabs me. He was like, Bosa's here. And I was like, wow. I couldn't believe it, but hey, he's here.
Hey, hold on a second. Did you hear that? Bosa's here. Not Bosa signed. Bosa's here.
Rack that back.
Listen again.
Rack that thing back.
Now, maybe this is just the word he chose. Is Bosa in Santa Clara already? Do we know this? We don't even know. But listen to what Fred says.
Just really happy. Ecstatic, actually. You should have seen me screaming earlier. Yeah.
How'd you find out?
Eating my lunch, and Coach Willis walking down the hall. He grabs me. He was like, Bosa's here. And I was like, wow. I couldn't believe it, but hey, he's here.
Bosa's here. He's here.
He's him.
And he's him. Yeah, he's definitely him.
Well, and we should shout out our great social media expert, Alex Espinoza, for delivering the sound. And maybe we reach out to Alex and ask him if he saw Bosa or if he got an indication as to whether or not he's actually here.
Well,
but
again, if we find out because when did that break? What was that, like 1:30, 1:15?
Our show meeting was at 12:45, and I walked in at 12:42. When you were,
oh, that's right. It hadn't started yet.
You were talking to the boss,
it's about 12:40.
I burst in and interrupted your little confab. And it's funny. We should take the people behind the screen and behind the scenes because you guys were having a deep dive on the pitch clock.
Well,
and I broke in and said, "Well, because Grandy immediately Bosa."
I'll share this real quick.
And I said, "Bosa's done," and he said, "Bosa, it's done." Schefter, and that's what we do in our business. We're like, news breaks, and it's like Rappaport, Rap Sheet, or Schefter. Or Marosi.
I was fixing to show the boss this.
Oh, this is so great.
The lovely Christy got an email from the Giants yesterday. And this is like buying tickets here in the month of September.
Yep. Renew your season tickets.
And we know the Giants, nothing like it. That bar is across the top.
Of course.
Not nobody like us. Nothing like it. And then right under it, there's a picture of Yaz with his hands up in the air. And the headline right below that is, like, this is your big pitch, right? How are you going to get people to come to the yard? Ready? Now games are 30 minutes shorter in 2023.
What?
Whoa! Amazing. That's the pitch. So I was trying to share that to the boss, and I appreciate you interrupting that giant conversation.
Bosa, it's done.
With Bosa News.
Bosa, done.
Done.
Show, written. Throw the playbook out. So maybe Alex Espinoza, our great social media reporter, producer extraordinaire, maybe he can shed some light as to whether or not Bosa is actually here or just,
on the way.
Figuratively
here.
Well,
listen now. Let's listen to the words of Kyle Shanahan when he talks about how he found out.
I actually was preparing to talk to you guys about how I have nothing to tell you guys, and I was 3 minutes late because I just got told of the news. So obviously pumped up about it and try to hit him up after this and figure it out. But I know he's trying to get here as fast as possible.
Okay, so now that's he's trying to get here as fast as possible. Does that mean that he's in the restroom that's far away from the media room?
Could mean he's in Mountain View and southbound traffic on 101 is a little bit sticky.
Could also mean he's over Iowa right now on a plane. I have no idea. But we're getting into the semantics of the way the Niners are talking about this. We do know, though, at 12:40, when you came running in to tell me, Bosa, done, big, signing bonus, guarantee, dollars,
Diddley, right,
huge.
Willard wrong.
Yeah. I mean, can we do that? No, where was I wrong? Tell me where I was wrong.
You were trying to lowball him. You were trying to nickel and dime him.
If you said 35 and I said 32, why is 34 a win for you? I don't want to get bogged down by this. But why? Why? Why am I wrong?
Well, because
we got some YouTubers also.
You came up to 32.
I didn't.
I think initially,
I'll show you the tweet is a week old. I said get to 32 and let's roll.
Initially, I feel as if you were saying that he had not that he had no right to be above Aaron Donald, but why is Aaron Donald being used as a comp and not his brother or not TJ Watt?
That's a fair question. And it was only a question. It was not an opinion.
Right.
The tweet was a week old. I said, get to 32 and let's move on. He got to 34. Good for him. But in Price is Right rules, you lose.
Okay.
You overbid.
Had Bob Barker still been with us, rest in peace, Bob Barker.
Yes, please.
Thank
to
you,
the sky.
and we appreciate all that you gave us. But
No, here's what I'll say.
And I'm just kidding. I don't even care.
I know. Here's what I will say.
But it's a win.
He got more than I thought he would.
Yeah.
He got more than I thought he would.
And honestly, he got more than I thought he would.
Really?
I was saying 35 get it done, and 35 million a year would have gotten it done. I thought. I mean,
yes, it would have.
I thought that it was going to end up landing closer to 32.5 because Aaron Donald and everything you said, Mark, is spot on in terms of resetting the market. And the Niners, not that they care about other teams, but in terms of where Aaron Donald was and is, 31.666 million, you figured 32.5 would be a nice bump. You still would get the max. I thought he'd get the Triple Crown, average annual, guaranteed number, total number, and he did. But the fact that it landed at 34, I am a little surprised that he got to be that high.
It's higher. It's a touch higher than I thought it would be. And then the only other thing that I think we really batted around for a week was, I will never understand why it took this long, but I thought our tone yesterday was this. There's no characteristic of this argument that gets us to beyond week one. It never made sense.
Never felt that way, yeah.
It never made sense. And I was to the point last night of, and I say this in a fan way, like I didn't lose sleep over Nick Bosa, but like fan frustrated. I was fan-strated, basically, if you will, with regard to the fact that it was still out there going into the first day of practice for the game week, because certain things, Jonathan Taylor, even Chris Jones, those have characteristics of this might take a minute. This didn't. Nobody was mad at each other. Everybody knew this was coming a year ago.
Yeah.
Everyone knew this was going to be north of 30. And Super Bowl, like you got to go win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This never made sense to have Nick Bosa miss games.
Right.
It just never made sense.
And yesterday you spelled it out well when you talked about it would be 1.05 million per miss game. So you're going to fight over $1 million per year, and you're going to give up $1 million in 4 days just because you don't want to sign now, even though you're already signed for this year. It didn't make sense. And you were right to point out that there wasn't acrimony in the deal. Like Jonathan Taylor, I feel he might not play all year.
I mean, the Colts. Let's see, but
that's crazy though.
But it's because they don't care. It's because they don't care about their record this year.
Exactly.
Right. That is.
If you're Jonathan Taylor, wouldn't you be dying to go play somewhere? But it just feels like that thing is so far from being settled. Yet this one, it felt weird that it hadn't been settled. So it's now done. It's Wednesday. The game is Sunday, and we can put this all behind us.
Jonathan overplayed his hand. Jonathan went
especially in this climate.
He hit the button too soon because Jonathan's only made like $3 million in his career.
Right.
And no one's gonna, even if he got traded, who else is gonna give him a bell cow role?
Right.
Nobody's he should have stayed with the Colts, said I'm cool, let's roll, put up 1,500 yards, and then slam on the gas. I think this is going to blow up in both of their faces, quite frankly. But I don't think the Colts care, and Jonathan does.
That's a great point.
That's the problem for Jonathan. And again, that's the leverage of each of these situations. Nick had a bunch. And a 49er fan, I think, can be settled with the idea that why did Nick have leverage? Because your team is good. That's the underbelly of this whole thing. The leverage is born out of the fact that the 49ers could not afford to take liberties on this season. They got to have Nick Bosa ready to go this weekend. Now they do.